Hello, Jonathan here with Peach Blitz. One of the things people obviously want to talk about when they're considering hiring us for SEO is, they're wondering how it actually works. What are we practically doing to increase their site's ranking in Google? How does Google decide who to put on page 1 versus page 10? And I have found over the years that I'm able to most effectively explain this when somebody's actually in my office and I can show them on my screen a bit about how this works. So this is the next best thing. It's a video where I'm going to show you some actual examples of some sites that I own, as well as exactly how we would take a site that's not ranking and boost it up in Google. So first off, we're looking at printingpeach.ca. I am in Canada. I started printingpeach.ca in 2007. It's an online print company. It's a sibling company that actually my brother runs for me now. And it's one of the dominant online print companies in Canada. Actually, I don't think it's unfair to say we are the most dominant online print company in Canada. Kind of like Vistaprint with a bit more of a service focus, but very, very comparable prices to Vistaprint. The lowest prices on the web, cheaper often than them actually. So we'll take a look at this. We'll also take a look at Peach Blitz, our own website for web marketing, see what we've done there and how that works. And printingpeach.com, about a year and a half ago, we started servicing the US with print as well. So we'll take a look what's happened there. We'll also take a look at this website, which I randomly found in a Google search looking for a site that's not performing well, because I want to contrast some of what we've done for our websites to perform well with a site that's not performing well, and tell you how we could take this site or your site from page 9, 10, nowhere in the Google results to coming up on page 1 of Google. So first off, I want to point out something here. This is kind of the part of SEO that everybody understands. It's the part where you kind of say, if you have the keywords sprinkled nicely throughout the site, you may rank better in Google. And things that matter more to Google in terms of your content would be your page title. This is what shows up in the tab of the web browser. You can see the page title here is Cheap Printing Services Toronto, postcards, door hangers, flyers, flyer printing, and more. And that's designed to be keyword rich because this is the title of your website. If your website was a book, this is the book's title. So obviously Google puts a lot of weight in what they find in your page title, more weight than anything else on your site. After page titles though comes headings. They carry more weight than just text in a paragraph somewhere. So if you look at our page title, cheap printing services Toronto, obviously we're going for terms that revolve around cheap printing and a lot of other products too. And we rank for, if you go to google.ca, Canada's Google, and you search for cheap flyer printing, cheap brochure printing, cheap business card printing, cheap postcard printing, almost any of those types of things, we come up number 1 or close to it. And actually, even if you go to google.ca, the Canada Google, and you search just cheap printing, their number 1 in the search results is Printingpeach. And actually, there's our Google business page too. You may not see that because obviously you're probably further away and Google likes to localize these, but you will see us number 1 in the search results. So why did that happen? I mean, obviously there's lots of websites in Canada advertising cheap printing, right? So I'm not the only one with cheap printing in my title. And here's the thing. This is where it gets interesting. This is a tool called Majestic. You can check this out for yourself. And what this tool does is it scours the web, similar to the way Google scours the web, and it sees who is linking to who. And if you've read much about SEO, you might be starting to realize that links are kind of a big deal with SEO. Google's obviously got, for any given search term, including that term cheap printing, they've got hundreds if not thousands of websites that are a match based on content, meaning it was in the title, it was in a heading, whatever. They have to figure out, of those hundreds or thousands of sites, which ones to put on page 1. And there's lots of factors, but bar none, and this is one of the few things that's not much debated in SEO. The biggest factor is how many links you have pointing to your site and the quality of those links. And by a link, I mean somebody on another site put a link from their site to your site. So, you did business for somebody, they were happy, they mentioned you on their website's resource page with a link back to your site, that kind of thing. So, yeah, Google doesn't publicize who's linking to who anywhere. So tools like Majestic, and there's a few of these type of tools, will tell you who's linking to any given website. So you see we've got Printingpeach in here. If you scroll down, it says here that we have this unbelievable number of external backlinks. Now, this is not so much the number to pay attention to. This is really the number to pay attention to. 190 referring domains. We've got this whopping number of backlinks because a few of these have what's called a site-wide link, where there might be a link in the footer or something, and we're getting a link from every single page. But basically, what really matters is how many other websites or domains are linking to you. Every time Google sees another website linking to you, you can think of that as a vote for your website. Generally speaking, a website does not get a link from another website unless they're active, doing something well. Honestly, you could be doing something terrible. If that gets you a link in SEO, it still helps. It's kind of like there's no press that's bad press in a way with SEO. But yeah, these links are like votes. So the question becomes, where the heck are these all coming from? Now, for Printingpeach, we've been in business since 2007. We've done business with something like 4,500 clients over the years. So it's not surprising that just naturally a certain amount of people did link to us. But we've also been very intentional about it, building backlinks, requesting backlinks from people we have relationships with, other business owners, that kind of thing. And we built links through a couple proprietary tools for SEO purposes that we've built up. Take a quick peek at this backlinks tab, but I do encourage you to go to Majestic and check this out. Even without an account, they'll let you see a certain amount of sites per day. This is literally a listing of who is linking back to us, and that's why they call it a backlink, by the way. It's a link back to us. Got a link from this site called clicky.com. That was from a testimonial we did for them. We use this service. Joomla Shine, similar, White Spark, Desert Gold. These are all links, like kind of real links that happen. If we keep going though, this link here, this is a link we built through one of our SEO tools. One of the ways that we build links for our clients is by interlinking our clients. Now understand, when you're building links for your SEO clients, you need to do this in a way that is very natural, and Google's going to be happy with it, because if they detect someone's trying to manipulate their search rankings, you could wind up with one of these nasty penalties. And we haven't had a penalty in years, but back in the early days, and as things changed a lot, we did have a couple penalties going back to like 2012, 13. Don't think those are the end of the world. They're honestly easy to get out of. It's a quick reconciliation process generally over the course of a week to 3 weeks, and the penalty is lifted. But yeah, you want to avoid that, obviously. So what we're doing is building links in the most natural possible way. And so this is a link coming from toinnovative.net, which is a client of ours. And what the heck? Let's check out this page. So there's an article about CD manufacturing, and there's a link actually right there back to Printingpeach. If you read this article, it's a well-written article, a natural link back to Printingpeach. It doesn't read like a robot wrote this or something like that. It's well done. And actually, the beautiful thing about this article is that Google will find this article. Human beings will not. So if you're concerned about, okay, if I do SEO with Peach Blitz, they're going to put articles on my site. Well, first off, we don't absolutely have to. It just makes it easier for us to do your SEO. Secondly, these articles are literally invisible. If we go back to the home page of toinnovative.net, you will not find a link anywhere here to that article or any other similar articles. They even have their own blog if you look in the footer, but that article is not in their actual blog, if you want to say that. Again, this article is basically visible to Google but invisible to human beings. So yeah, it's a great way for us to get links from 100% legitimate sites for our clients by interlinking our clients. And we'll prioritize when people have a geographic relationship, meaning they're close to each other or they're in a similar niche like dentist to doctor, that kind of thing. So that's one way we build links. And I'll just scroll down a little further here. Some more of the same kind of situation there. Here's one on Ottawa Life. Now, this is an article that was written about us through a service that we built called Foxy Blogger. Well, Foxy Blogger, we built this about 4 years ago, and we've been building it up. What it is if you're a blogger, you regularly write blogs on your website, what have you, you obviously would like to get paid for that. So we basically pay bloggers to kind of product place a link into our client's website. So they might have a home improvement blog, and if they're writing on their home improvement blog, it's fairly easy to find a very natural way to mention a real estate agent. And so they'll, again, kind of product place in a link to that real estate agent. And again, the point to be made here is it's a link coming from a 100% real website back to your site in a natural way. And that's really what you need. SEO so much over the years has revolved around building links by first building fake websites and then getting essentially fake links from fake websites. I'm not saying that that doesn't sometimes still work. It really can, but be aware that that is top of Google's hit list. They are actively working to detect that kind of thing. Real links placed naturally on real websites is basically going to be effective indefinitely. There's nothing at all to indicate to Google that there's something about that link that should be a concern. So anyway, so that's how printingpeach.ca performs so well, and that's how any site would perform well. Take a quick look at a couple other sites. Peachblitz.com, if you may or may not know, peachblitz.com grew out of Printingpeach, and it was actually only in 2015, early 2015, that we took PeachBlitz, created that as a separate identity for our web marketing services. When we started Printingpeach, I mean, obviously selling print material, it's a marketing company. We had all kinds of people asking us, after having designed a flyer or a brochure, if we could design a website. Obviously we were capable. We were a web-based company, and could we market that website? So we've been selling web marketing services under the Printingpeach umbrella almost since the beginning. But yeah, in early 2015, we finally decided to split it off. There's a video of me on the homepage of Printingpeach explaining things, and actually, yeah, you'll see here there's a banner saying that we offer web marketing. But so PeachBlitz is much newer. Obviously, it takes time to build up links for a website. You don't want to do it too fast. Again, you're trying to mimic a natural building of popularity for a website. But here's PeachBlitz. You can see that we've got 57 referring domains. And yeah, PeachBlitz is starting to do really well. If you search for things like, excuse me here, Akron AL results SEO or Lexington AL SEO, we come up #1 for those terms. A lot of other sort of city-based terms. Obviously, SEO terms are the most competitive SEO terms in the world, and because you got a bunch of SEO agencies fighting over them, and we've been kind of in an enviable position of having a steady stream of our clients kind of come to us as a referral through Printingpeach. So PeachBlitz is the first time we've ever actually actively gone after it. We've been after it for a year roughly, and we've kind of taken the strategy of going after lots of small cities and ranking for these many small cities, sort of a wide net. So that's really starting to work as a result of these 57 backlinks and a lot of these location pages we've created. Actually, we've created a location page, sort of like a page saying we service every city that's in the United States and Canada. Here, I'm on my other screen here real quick. I'm going to actually quickly show you an example of this. Pull this over here. Here's a google.com search for Lexington AL SEO, and there's us, number one, with one of these location pages. This is a neat tactic that we have for companies that are in national high competition markets where they can sort of start to compete even early on. SEO services for Lexington, Alabama, and there's a nice write-up about who we are, our pricing structure, and all that good stuff. And this generates leads for us on a very, very regular basis, almost daily. So again, this is a cool way for a company to compete on a national level in very high competition niches and see results in a relatively short period of time. So that's been what's happening with Peach Blitz since we got that going. And last but not least, printingpeach.com. Obviously, I was mentioning printingpeach.ca is Canadian. We're Canadian. We got into the U.S. market a couple of years back with printingpeach.com. We didn't ship over the border before because there's all kinds of delays possible, but now we've got connections with manufacturers across the border, so things ship direct from U.S. Manufacturers. And so yeah, again, we've been at that less time, longer than Peach Blitz. It's got 61 referring domains, and actually print is competitive, not nearly as competitive as SEO, and this is performing really, really well. Like if you search for cheap flyer printing, for instance, I believe we come up number one. I'm on my other screen here again real quick here. Yeah, there we go. Cheap flyer printing, this is printingpeach.com, what US residents would see. There we are, number one. Yeah, so that has gone really well. Actually, US print business is now at least a third of our business, and we anticipate that to eventually be much bigger than our Canadian business, obviously, just because of the population difference. So, yeah, so let's take a look. One last kind of case study here. Let's look at a site that's not performing well. I just went over to Google and came up with a random search term, Dentist St. Louis. I went all the way to page 9, and I found this site, Smiles by Choice. And if we go over to their site, Smiles by Choice, and we look at their title, they obviously are trying to do the keyword route. You know, they understand that part. If I put keywords on my site, maybe I'll rank. And they've gone overboard here. They've kind of stuffed this, and this may actually be a negative factor for them. But they obviously are a dentist in St. Louis. They're coming up way back on page 9, so obviously not performing well. Maybe you've been down this road. You know, you tried to stuff keywords into your site, and you're wondering why the heck it's just not going well. They've got a pretty decent looking site. I can see it's a WordPress site. You know, that's supposed to be SEO friendly. They've got they called it the on-page stuff kind of happening. On-page just means stuff you do on your site, making sure your site is keyword rich and in a platform that Google likes, like WordPress. But they're on page 9. So what's wrong? Again, it goes back to the backlinks. Here's smilesbychoice.com in Majestic. They have 3 referring domains, very few referring domains. If we take a look at the actual backlinks, first time I'm looking at this, by the way. Some kind of portfolio site, a link from a YouTube video, and I think this is, sometimes you get links from, looks like they're using a media player of some sort. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a lot of these sites that kind of just have general information about all kinds of other sites on the web, and I haven't even mentioned this to this point, but not all links are created equal either. If you had NBC put a link to you, you'd be dominating in Google tomorrow. NBC is obviously one of the most credible sites on the web. You have one of these sites linked to you, and it may as well not have happened. Majestic has these metrics they call trust flow and citation flow, which are basically a measure of that site's credibility and overall link power, and this one's coming up zeros, right? This first link had a citation, that's sort of like a power flow, citation flow 23, and trust flow, which is kind of the credibility of 0. So these links, it wouldn't they may as well not be here, really. But anyway, yeah, this lack of links and the poor quality of the links is why, for the most part, why the site is not ranking. If this person was to approach us to become our client, we would do some work on their site, de-stuffing their keywords. It's not going to help them stuffing all those keywords in there. De-stuffing the keywords in their title tag. Maybe introducing some title tags into their headings, which I mentioned are important to Google rather than just the word welcome. Making sure that they're basically using descriptive language, not keyword stuffing, but descriptive language throughout the site that helps Google understand what they're about. And then we would start building quality links to them from our blogger service and also by interlinking our clients. I already showed you an example of one of the articles that interlinks our clients. I'll show you one more here. So this is I Can Craft That, and this is a great looking article. It's related to the site. Honestly, if you've ever looked into SEO and you see the quality of links that are often built as part of an SEO campaign, they're really horrendous, and this looks really, really good. And again, if you go to the homepage of I Can Craft That, you will not find a link anywhere to that. A human being will not find that blog post. Even though they're good quality articles, we recognize that most people don't want you visibly publishing content to their site, so we do it in such a way that people can't find it, but Google can. And again, she even has her own blog, and you won't find it even linked from there. So that's it for now. Again, I hope this serves as kind of a fill-in for a face-to-face meeting. Helps you understand how we do what we do. I guarantee you, you won't find too many SEO companies being so transparent. They're basically hiding that A, they may not be really doing anything for you other than tweaking some keywords on your page, or B, that the quality links they're building are so bad they just don't want you to see them. They're using readily available automated software to basically blast links onto horrible quality sites or really fake websites, which are really ultimately going to harm your website. It's a matter of time until those links actually get you a Google penalty, which again is not the end of the world, but it's certainly not the goal here.